Greetings, everyone. This is not Mike from Pinball Help. My name is not Mike, and if you ever had a pinball problem, if you needed pinball help, I would be the last person you would ever want to ask. I don't know my way around these machines, and I know I'm supposed to, because that's half of pinball right there. It's like buying a puppy and not knowing how to take care of them. It's ridiculous, I know. But every time I open up one of these pins, because I'm such a right brain-sided kind of person, it's always the same reaction. I get all amped up, like I'm gonna figure out what's wrong and I'm gonna troubleshoot and fix it. But every time, as soon as I open it up, my reaction is always like, ugh. And then I call one of the only people I know who actually knows how to fix these things, which is quite rare. It's quite rare to find anybody in this hobby who's willing to go out of their way and help your stupid ass. So luckily, I have that person. And luckily, on Pinball Help, though most of the videos he makes are completely over my head, the ones that I love the most and I savor is all of his pinball stories. Because if there's one thing I love more than pinball and just about anything else, if there's one thing I am psychotically beyond hardcore about, it's stories. And I don't care whatever form they take. Even if it's just a dude setting his camera up, literally pointed at the bottom of some packed away pin. If it's a good story, I'm there. And my God, if it's a good story about pinball, that's a win-win right there. That's chocolate and peanut butter. What could be better? But other than that, in honor of Mike and Pinball Help, let me quickly give you my pinball story. October 2019. My wife and my daughter were all coming back from NYC, New York City. We had a great business 3-day NYC vacation. We got to eat a lot of good places. I got to check out modern NYC pinball, which thank gosh, because that, like so many other pre-COVID pinball places, have gone the way of the dinosaur. COVID, fantastic for the sales of pinball machines. For places to actually sit and publicly play them, oh, dear God. In the great city of Albany, I barely have a place to put a quarter in anymore. It's very frustrating. But little did I know, of course, that so many more frustrating things were on the way. I remember very distinctly something felt up during this New York City trip, and then we got home a week later. My wife gave me this look. I don't know if you've ever seen this look on a woman, but they don't need any words whatsoever. This look is saying, honey, I'm pregnant, and I hope to God you're not pissed off. And even though I honestly did not want another kid, I was wearing more Durex rubbers than a college fucking freshman. I was literally making love to my microwave more than my wife. I have no idea how this happens, even though he kind of looks like the surgeon she works with. I don't know, but she didn't have to say anything. I was like, that's great. Honey, I love you, blah, 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 blah. I know for her that was her dream come true. She always wanted to be a doctor and have 2 kids and drag us all to Disney World every year. Perhaps if they had pinball in the magical kingdom, it might make it easier, but it doesn't. But like inside, of course I'm not going to say it, I'm going, holy fucking shit. Fuck no, because I stay at home. I've been taking care of my daughter, Sophie. I've been stuck in this house, living a COVID existence since 2015. And my daughter was like a stone throw away from 5, and I was just starting to get a taste of sweet, delicious freedom. That alone is getting me in full panic mode before we knew that COVID was even coming. So, January 2020. Once again, my wife, my pregnant wife, and my daughter, we've all just come back from Ann Arbor, Michigan, where once again, my wife was doing business, and once again, I got to check out a really cool pinball place. Pinball Pete's is mind-blowing. If you ever get to check it out in Ann Arbor, that place was awesome. It's like, I'm super glad that COVID-19 did not destroy that place, because if you ever get the chance, that's one of the most amazing pinball arcades I have ever seen, ever. ever, in the history of ever. Do you know what's the opposite of Pinball Pete's? COVID-19. As we all know, the world was about to go through a huge tectonic shift, and I was already feeling super frustrated that even without COVID, my life was already about to go through a huge tectonic shift. Whatever asshole was not doing their job at the Durex factory on the day we were checking what I eventually bought? Oh, well, I kind of like my son. He's actually the cutest thing I've ever seen. So I guess I should get that idiot a fruit basket, but still, it didn't feel that way at the time.
I must get out of here.
And definitely felt that the walls just kept getting tighter and tighter. COVID continued to get more complicated. My wife's pregnancy began to get more complicated. And it got so bad because all the rules changed, including when you go to the hospital to deliver a baby. I had to call my sister to come over, assuring her that it'll only be a few days. My wife is going to go into labor any second now because it wasn't our first kid. And already her body was kind of telling her that this was about to happen. I remember at the end of May, I was in a panic trying to put a new baby seat in her vehicle because it just felt like we were at ground zero. We weren't, though. Though God knows at the time, my kid really was desperately struggling to get the heck out, but he couldn't. So, the 3-day weekend, I assured my sister, became a week, and 2 weeks, and almost even 3. And yes, I played pinball to chill out. And yes, I cooked insane amounts of beef because my wife was craving nothing but dead cow the whole time. But I can assure you, more than any situation I have ever been in my entire life, I have never felt such pressure. I was just trying to keep myself together and her and my sister, and it was mind-numbingly insane. And it became crystal clear to me that the things I love to do most, that wasn't going to happen anymore. I was not going to be able to get to do anything except take care of kids and maybe play an occasional game of pins. There's plenty of ways where I've had it way better than most people during the pandemic, but the one that really kills me, I've been isolated and living in my house for years. I'm glad neither of my kids is going to grow up to be a freaking serial killer because they stayed with me instead of some goddamn daycare. Because really, there's nothing worse than a fucking daycare. How can any of us sleep at night constantly subjecting our kids to that crap? It could be the daycare for billionaires. It's still a petri dish, like disease-infested shithole, even before COVID was a thing. So, strangely enough, the one thing that cheered me up was listening to these silly little pinball stories from Mike from Pinball Help. I don't know why, but somehow the combination of my two favorite things, 3, let's say, writing, pinball and stories, and that was exactly what I needed at a very important time. And so it's funny, but I just realized that, if I'm stuck forever, because I'm just going to be taking care of kids forever, it's like, well, what do I want to do? I'll just write something for me. I'll just write something like, what would I want to write about? I would want to write a story about vampires and pinball, because why not? If I'm just writing something for fun, if I'm just writing something for me, who gives a shit? And it just sounded so hilarious to me, it made me laugh. A vampire living in Lake George, where he's hunting for pinball machines instead of virgin blood or Persian rugs? That's ridiculous. And that's what I've been working on. So, I don't know you from I don't know you from heads or tails or whatever, Mike. We're total strangers, and thank you. Cause while waiting for my kid to be born, Something as simple as pinball stories made a huge difference. And the past almost 2 years, my son's going to be 2 years this June, working on this book that yes, I am trying to share with you all, and yes, I think is worth your time, that has kept me going. Stories and pinball. And in my humblest opinions, they both go together like peanut butter and chocolate, and they're all worth your time. Thank you very much. Bye.